we have to create a foreign key in student details. To create the foreign key, let's click on relationships icon. Make sure that the first table is created. Click on relationships, click on add. This going to create a one foreign key. Click on tables and columns. Click on a button which shows the 3 period or dots. Most important is to select the primary key table, which is student. And another important thing, to click in the next text box, which becomes a drop down list, and allow me to select which field is my primary key, which is in our case S_RN. Foreign key table is already fixed, it's a student details, but the field name which we have to specify is I am going to select S_ID, which indicates that S_ID must have the value which supposed to the same as S_RN. So finally I have created one table called student details, which has a one foreign key called S_ID, which must have the value which exists in S_RN field of student. This is the way you can create foreign key. Click on OK. Click on close. Click on close the table, which is going to save my relationships of foreign key. It's asking to save the table. Click on save. It's confirmation dialog box to click on yes. Finally my table has been created, but I have to insert record. To insert the record in student details, I must know which roll number exists in student. So let me show that how many records are there in student. Click on student table, show table data, which shows that total 4 records exist, 101 till 104. Close the table. Let's select the new table and let's enter the records by clicking on show table data. Here you can enter only those values which exist in ID of student. And let me try with the some value which is not exist, and if I'll try it, it's supposed to display me an error. The moment I'll save it, look at this, because that my foreign key does not have the value 105 exists in my primary key table. Let's remove this record by clicking on escape button. My data is stored and the work on the backend side has been done. Let's drag and drop this another table on my DBML diagram, which is going to create the one relationship between the student and student details. And your DBML file must be closed too. write the code in CS file. So let's close this DBML file. The purpose of this DBML file is to convert the join of two tables into a one class. Let's close it. Let's save it. So now I can add a one web page. Click on add. Let's go to design. Let's drag the grid view control. Let's click on the load event and let's write it down the code. When I'll say data, classes, I am able to get my classes name called data classes. Data context is nothing but the new class created just because of this data classes DBML file. This class represents the entire join of two tables called student and student details. Okay, let's continue with the code by writing a one line of code called using data context, data classes, data context, any object name equals to new data classes, data context. We have to write our query. Let's understand the query from keyword variable name in the above object called SQL obj dot. You can see that there are two tables available. My table number 1 is student and my table number 2 is, we have a one keyword called join, my variable name 2, that is dm. So em represents my first table called student and dm represents my second table called students details. So I got from variable 1 in my table 1, join variable 2 in my table 2, on keyword variable 1 dot which field you want to select. I said roll number, which equals to variable number 2 dot which field you want to select. I said id and select new. Field number 1 and field number 2 from my first table, that indicates from em, and field number 1 and field number 2 from my second table called dm. This is nothing but a title supposed to be displayed on my grid view, which you can use anything. It's not a keyword. You can use your own words. And finally, I'll connect with my grid view control. Let's execute and check whether you are getting output. And output supposed to be the combination of two tables that shows that link to SQL using joins. So I assume that there are two fields from the table number 1 and two fields from the table number 2 will be displayed, and it's supposed to display your result with the 4 columns in my grid view. Let's wait and check whether result is the same one which we are expecting or something different. So here you are getting 101 roll number and name from the table number 1 and ID and address is from table number 2. That means that this exercise has done with link to SQL with joins. Thank you and have a nice day.